The Law and the Promise by Neville Goddard. Welcome to this deep dive into one of Neville Goddard's most inspiring works, The Law and the Promise. If you're curious about how to consciously create your reality and harness the power of imagination, you're in for a life-changing message. Neville Goddard was a spiritual teacher and mystic who taught that the imagination is not just a tool of the mind, it's the very creative force of God within us. In The Law and the Promise, he breaks down how this inner power works and how people from all walks of life have used it to completely transform their world. Let's begin with the law. Part 1. The Law. Imagination creates reality. At the heart of Neville's message is a powerful truth. Imagining creates reality. We're not just observers of life. We are creators. Every experience we've ever had, whether joyful or painful, began as a thought, a feeling, or a belief held in the imagination. The law that Neville refers to is the law of consciousness. What we assume to be true eventually becomes our reality. Neville teaches that imagination is God, and that God dwells in every person as their own wonderful human imagination. This is not metaphorical. He means this literally. God is not something out there. God is within, imagining your life into being. So how do we use this law? It begins with a simple but profound practice. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If there's something you desire, a better job, health, love, success, you don't wait for it to happen before you feel the joy or relief. Instead, you imagine yourself already having it. You feel the emotion of having your wish right now. You live in the end. This is not daydreaming. It's a deliberate act of creation. By persistently imagining and feeling the reality of your desire, you impress it upon your subconscious mind. The subconscious, in turn, brings circumstances, events, and people into your world that match the inner state you've created. Here's Neville's famous line: "You are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe this is the only reason you do not see it." The law is neutral. It doesn't care whether you imagine success or failure. It simply brings you what you believe and feel to be true. Part 2. The Promise. The mystical revelation. While the law deals with how to create a better life in this world, the promise is Neville's teaching about spiritual awakening and the deeper purpose of life. He shares his own mystical experiences, visions, dreams, and inner revelations in which he realized that the Bible is not history, but a psychological and mystical drama taking place within every human being. According to Neville, there is a promise made by God to man, that we will awaken and realize that we are God. Not in a blasphemous way, but in the sense that the creative power that made the universe lives in us and expresses through us. He tells of his own personal experiences where he encountered characters from the Bible, David, Jesus, and others, not as separate beings, but as symbols and aspects of his own spiritual self. These weren't hallucinations or dreams. They were profound, vivid awakenings that revealed our divine identity. One of the most striking elements of the promise is Neville's assertion that everyone will eventually experience this awakening. It's not reserved for saints or mystics. It's your destiny. But while the law can be used by anyone, anytime, to change their circumstances, the promise unfolds in its own time, God's time, not yours. Neville says, you can use the law to change your world, but the promise is God's gift to you. It will come when you are ready, and it will reveal that you are not just a child of God, but God Himself in expression. This awakening leads to a profound sense of unity, peace, and purpose. You realize that life is not happening to you. It's happening through you. And everything you've ever imagined was leading you to this moment of remembrance. Part 3. Real Stories of Transformation. One of the most compelling parts of the law and the promise is that it's filled with real stories, testimonies from people who applied Neville's teachings and changed their lives dramatically. There's the woman who was told she could never have children, who imagined holding her baby and feeling like a mother, and then gave birth to a healthy child against all medical odds. There's the man who was unemployed and broke, who imagined being congratulated on a new job, even though he didn't know where it would come from. Within weeks, he landed a high-paying role that exceeded anything he expected. There are countless others, people healing illnesses, reconciling relationships, achieving success, not through force, but through inner transformation. Neville emphasizes that these are not miracles in the traditional sense. They are the natural outcome of applying the law. Once you change your concept of self, the world reflects it back to you. As he says, change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Final thoughts. So, what does all of this mean for you? It means that right now, wherever you are in life, you have the power to begin again. You don't need to wait for luck, permission, or outer change. You begin within by imagining the life you want and assuming that it is already yours. Start small if you must. Imagine something simple and specific, a message from a friend, a surprise gift, a change in mood. Prove it to yourself. And remember, your imagination is not fantasy. It is the creative spirit of God in action. Neville's work reminds us that the greatest secret has always been hidden in plain sight. You become what you believe. You create what you imagine. You are what you assume. Use the law and be patient for the promise. One transforms your world. The other reveals who you truly are. In the end, you'll find that they are not separate at all. They are two sides of the same divine journey, awakening to the truth that your imagination is God and your world is its reflection.